Welcome back, everybody. Now let's go to item number 4. In this problem, we have the principal of 16,000 pesos, a rate of 15%, compounding period is compounded quarterly. Ayan. Kung sa tingin mo, in the first 3 problems, we have compounded annually. So therefore, if it's compounded annually, therefore, there's nothing to divide, nor the exponent has to be multiplied. Kasi nga, they said daw, the general formula for compound interest is P times 1 plus R raised to the T power. But sometimes, you may have a compounding period. And if that were so, that's when sometimes you need to compound it so that you can already tell how many times. Kasi ito ba, remember, sometimes you have to come back to the bank, and that's why you have to divide, and that's why you have to convert it so that it can tell about the number of times that you're going to come back to the bank. So whatever you do to the rate, you also do it to the time. So the formula is this. Di ba, remember, this is the literal formula. P times 1 times the rate times the time raised to the T power. Pero if there's a compounding period, your rate will be divided by C and your T will be multiplied by C. Do you know what does the C stand for? The C stands for the compounding period. In some situations in school, they would rather just use M or N depending upon the situation. Like for example, the R may be I or N, something like that. Or the T may be M or N, something like that. But for me, I just use C na lang. You know why? To help me remind me that C stands for compounding period. Since we're talking about compound interest, therefore, the letter C stands for compounding. So, how's it being compounded? So, yun talaga. So, whenever you have a compounding period, diba remember kung sa tingin mo sa first 3 problems, we just did it directly. Wala tayong R divided by C at saka C times T because the compounding period was just annually. And just like what I said, thanks to identity property of multiplication, anything multiplied by 1 is just itself. Realistic, diba? But now, since you already have a compounding period, therefore, you're gonna have to multiply the T by C and divide the R and C all together. So, yun talaga yung mangyayari. Now, let's go now to the problem. So, in this particular problem, we have 16,000 and our rate is 15%, 0.15%, compounded quarterly, such that our time unit is in 8 years. The interest amount and the amount are not given. So, we know already the formula that's already implied. So, now we have a new formula that goes like this. Principal times 1 plus the R divided by C raised to the CT power. Now, plug in their values. What is our principal? Our principal is 16,000. What is our rate? What is our rate? Our rate is 0.15%. Converting it to decimal, you should get, ano yun? 0.0015. Diba? Is there a compounding period? Meron. And it's 4. So we're gonna divide that by 4. And then the exponent, it's T times T. Compounding period is quarterly, so 4 times 8. And that's what we're gonna do, 4 times 8. 4 times 8 to give it 32. Diba? Now let's solve for each. So now let's do 0.0015 divided by 4. And doing that will give you this answer. So diba, remember, this is what we're gonna do. So the first thing that we're gonna do is to divide. Or you can just, what you call this, multiply the 4 and the 8 to give you the number 32, which is the exponent that you're raising it to. This is the number 32. Diba? And then, 0.015 divided by 4, that's the same as, ano yun? That's the same as 15 over 10,000 divide by, ano yun? Divide by 4. Or multiplying that by reciprocal, you should get 1/4. And dapat you should get 15 over 4,000. And 15 over 4,000, you can just divide that by 5. Dividing both sides by 5, you should get 3 over 800. Diba? And 3 over 800, we are gonna have to divide that now. So let's see how we're gonna get. So 3 divided by 800 equals, we should come up with the answer of 0.00375. Okay? And then whatever answer we get here, we're gonna raise that to the 32nd power. So we have so diba remember, tandaan mo yung sagot, 0.00375. Then whatever answer we get, we multiply it by the principal, which is 16,000 pesos. And then we raise that with ano yun, the exponent, which is raising it to the 32nd power. But since this is a very large exponent, that's why I would rather do it in a calculator na lang. So looking back at my solution sheet, ito yung ginawa ko. Later, I'll show you my solution sheet. And then we have, wow, that's a very strange answer. 2.338840341 times 10 raised to the negative 78 power. Ang layo. Pero keep that answer because you will see why it makes sense. Pindutin mo lang siya yung answer, and then whatever answer you get, you multiply that by the principal, which is 16,000. I just hope our answer gets smaller. Wow! Wait, I forgot a step. Kasi ba dapat you're supposed to add that by 1? So sorry. So dapat it's supposed to be ganito. Diba remember this is 1 plus 0.0015 divided by, ano yun? Diba remember kanina we did this? 0.0015 divided by 4. Because it's compounded quarterly. Ito pala, tungkol sa mga compounding periods, kapag sinabi annually, it's 1. Compounded quarterly, it's 4. Because quarter means 4. So 4 times you will visit the bank. To help you remember that. Every 4 months, dapat it's 3 times. Bi-monthly, that's 6. Because 2 months in a year, so divide by 6. Semi-annually, that's 2 because 2 times. And monthly, that's 12. So we're gonna have to divide that by 4. And you should get this answer. Diba? And then we need to add that by 1. So we should get this answer. Then we raise that to the 32nd power. Tama, we should get 1.01207 something. Diba? So therefore, this should be, the correct answer should be 16,000 times 1.012070045. Okay? Then we multiply our answer by the principal, which is 16,000. Doing so will give you the future value of 16,193.12. Yan. So therefore, our future value is, FV is 16,193.2. Okay? That is the future amount. Pero, because diba remember sabi ko, you need to solve for the interest, you're gonna have to subtract it by the principal, and therefore your interest should be 193.12 pesos. So yan. Let's double check in my solution sheet to see we got the exact answer. So looking back at my solution sheet, ganito yung formula na ginawa ko. So we have this formula. P plus the 1 plus the R divided by C raised to CT power equals A. And that's what we did, diba? So yun yung ginawa ko. Diba? And that's what I did. And we come up with this answer. Raising it to the 32nd power, we should get this answer. So dapat we should get, tama, that is the amount, 16,193.12. And the interest is 193.12 pesos. That's it. Next, for number 5, the problem is this. I have no principal, but my rate is 9%. It's compounded bi-monthly. And when we say bi-monthly, ibig sabihin that it is being compounded every 6 months, every 2 months. That is bi-monthly. Because bi means 2, diba? And month, 2 by every 2 months. And every 2 months in 1 year, that's 6. So 12 divided by 2, diba remember there are 12 months in 1 year. And then dividing it by 2, that means it's 6 times. So you're gonna have to visit the bank 6 times. Alright? And then our time is 96 months. Teka, bakit ang time unit namin ay months? Bakit months? Dapat I wanted years. Don't panic. Because just what I said, this implies the application of converting your time units. Because, diba remember, in compound interest, the general statement is always annual. Pero sometimes, if your time unit, baka man mo, your teacher might give you in months. So therefore, you as a student, you should utilize what you've learned before from time conversion. If pagbibigay months, i-convert mo sa years. Pagbibigay days, i-convert mo sa years. Diba? Kaya that's why you need to master time conversion. I remember when I was in my old school, I always do that. Kaya mas madali lang to. So, 96 months, di ba? 96 months. And remember, we know the formula. is this. Diba remember, ang formula ay 1 year is worth 12 months. 12 months. Pero we have 96 months. 96 months, 96 divided by 12 to give you 8. So therefore, we have 8 years. So therefore, our time unit should be in 8 years. 8 years ang time unit namin. And then we have the future value, which is 250,000 pesos. Hey, that's kind of easy. We just have to solve lang for the present value. So yan. So now going back now to our formula. So the formula for this item is P is the unknown. The P is the unknown value. P, and then 1 plus what's the rate? Is it being divided by C? Yes, it's being divided by C because sabi dito bi-monthly. So, 1 plus the rate, which is, ano yung rate namin? 9% or 0.09. And then by monthly because it's being divided by 6. And then you raise that to the 6 times 8 power. Because 96 months is, ano yun? 8 years. So, dapat it's being raised to the 48th power. Doing the math, you get 0.9 divided by 6. So, that's 9 over 100 times 1 over 6. This cancels and you get 3 over 100 to give you 3 over 200. So, 3 over 200, dividing that out, you should get 1. Yan. So, therefore, your answer should be, ano yun? 0.015. Because from the 9% compounded bi-monthly, it's going to be 0.15%. 0.015. Let's see if we get that answer right, okay? So, let's do this on calculator. So, we have 0.09 divided by 6. Tama, we're supposed to get 0.015. And then, whatever answer you get here, you raise that to the 48th power. Pero that's a lot, so I have to keep on pressing the button. Or para mas madali, 48 na lang. So, we raise that to the 4th. Wait. Di ba remember dapat, we're supposed to add that by 1. So, add 1. And you're supposed to have 1.015. 1.015% na lang. Di ba? So, writing it down, you should have this answer. All raised to the 48th power. And then, whatever answer you get, we raise that to the 48. And what do we get? 2.04. Diba? 2.04347. And that is future value. What is the future value? 250,000, diba? So, 250,000 divided by 2.04347836, which is the answer that you got here. So, we do this. Diba? 250,000, diba? 250,000 divided by this one. Our principal must be 122,340.42 cents. And then, so that is your principal. So therefore, P is equivalent. So your present value should be 122,340.42 cents. That is the principal. Pero, di ba remember sabi dito, if you want to get the future amount, it's just very easy. So future amount, which is 250,000, minus this answer. And you should get 127,000 as the 127,659 as your interest, which you got here. So, ito yung ginawa ko sa solution sheet. Ang ginawa ko dito ay convert ko. And then I got 0.15. And then, ang ginawa ko dito, I got this answer. We added by 1. And then we raised that to the 48th power. And then, we divide by that one to give you this answer. Or you can do it simply direct. You can just do it like this. You can just do it like this. This is the direct formula. But if you want a step-by-step formula, you can also do that. Pero you will just take a series of steps. Pero to make it more direct, you can just do future value divided by whatever answer you get from adding 1 to your nominal rate just like that. And you should come up with ka. And you should come up with the same answer din. That's the answer that you're supposed to get. Gets? Yun lang. And that's it.